Hi everyone, my name is Natasha Westover and welcome to Accounted International. Today I'm joined by AK and we're going to break down the roadmap to your career. So I'll hand it over to AK to kick us off.
Hi, Natasha. Yeah, I think it is one of those where I think it's important to have some idea of where you are and where you want to be in order to avoid drifting through your career. Being intentional about how you're going to get to your ultimate dream job or your ultimate role. So I think absolutely the first point is identify. Okay, what is my current role, and what do I need to do next to get to that dream role? So, first and foremost, absolutely put your start and end points in. Then I would suggest take advice. Have conversations with either recruiters, with your manager, with sort of mentors and people that have sort of been involved in that process. You might speak to somebody at a networking event, for example, somebody who's already in the role that you want to be doing. Ask them how they got from A to B to C. And I think it may be that during those conversations you're given advice to take some training or to improve your networking. And I think the important thing though is to have those conversations with people who have that insight and to be able to identify your next natural role in sort of on that pathway. And finally, I would say, as with all journeys, and you can use a sat nav analogy. You can put in waypoints. You can say, actually, on the way from where I am now to where I want to be, I wouldn't mind doing some volunteer work overseas. I might fancy working in the New York office, or I might fancy a complete change of industry. I might really want to get into fashion or something like that. So, yeah, just think of things that you really would like to get involved in, and then plan your route accordingly. What are you saying, Natasha?
Yeah, definitely. I love the fact that you use the example of getting into fashion. I know, like that. You totally came. Yeah, I was like, really? That's a great example to use, AK. I wouldn't necessarily put that with you, but yeah, it is very much like figure out where you're going, where you want to be, and then reverse engineer it back from there. And I would say AK and I are completely different. And if you've seen any of our videos, you will understand how we approach this differently. AK will just subtly do this, whereas I'm going to tell you how I do it. I take that point I want to get to. I pick 5 points of what I need to do, 5 big things of what I need to do to get there. Anything more than 5, I become a bit overwhelmed and it feels a bit like back climbing Kilimanjaro. So 5 is a good number for me. And then for each of those 5 points, I break them down and go, what are the 3 things I've got to do in those 5 points to actually achieve that next thing? And then I take the 3 points and I prioritize the first natural step. And I create a really smart goal of how I'm going to do it. And for me, it's got to be time bounded. And that means really when I start the year or I start this piece of work, I think, what am I going to achieve in the next quarter and in the next 4 quarters? So that in a year's time, when I'm reviewing this, have I made the step forward that I wanted to make? So I break it down into 5 big things. Each of those 5 big things break down into 3 little things. And then I take the first natural step and I make it time bounded. And if I'm really, really going to work towards this, I would expect I would have achieved something in the next quarter. And that builds trust and confidence and self-discipline with myself that I'm actually doing this and I'm actually making progress. And that sort of methodology, that logic has really worked well in lots of things in my life, but especially when it comes to this. And in 1 year, you'd be so surprised at how much progress you can make towards your goal. And also within 1 year, if you've actually put some effort towards it, you will start to understand, is this something I really want to do? Or now that I've started looking into it, doing something towards it, it might not be for me. And that's good data too, because it means you can come back, you can relook at it, and you can start your plan again. So that's exactly how I would approach it. And maybe you're more AK, maybe you're more me, maybe you're somewhere in between. But that's my version of this roadmap to my career. What are your thoughts, AK?
Yeah, I agree. I think we are very different. No, I think it's one of those things. Having sort of discussed waypoints, and you were talking about, you know, setting objectives and time bounding them, is just working out the size of step you want to take each time. If you want to, you know, make a mega leap, then you have to put a lot of groundwork in terms of understanding what that entails, and, you know, what training or what sort of you know, what skills you need to have developed in that time. So I think in addition to sort of you know, approach, is deciding, you know, very much so the pace of change that you're comfortable with, and the pace of change that is required to you know, sort of elevate you into that role. What do you say?
Yeah, because when you're talking about training as well, some of that has got a cost involved. And so you need to know how much it's going to cost. You need to know how to save up for it. You need to know how you're going to be able to afford it. And you know, we're saying this because I know for me, I've been disappointed with where I'm at sometimes. And then when I take that moment to stop and think about it, I'm like, oh, actually, I want to do this next. And had I just started a training course or reached out to some people a year before, it would have made it so much easier for me. And so that's why we really wanted to do this video, is to explain, don't be in that situation where you're disappointed. Be in that situation where you're always got nice momentum and you're just building and building and building, and like doors open for you. That's really where we want you guys to be. And that's our experience when we found we did this. Loads of great things came our way. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.